Well, good morning. Sorrel here. Thought I'd run you through the improv poster project. One of the things I found is I had to rewrite this. So what I've done, and I've made this available to each of you. So let me open this up. You can look at the assignment. Here's your due date. I went through and kind of cleaned it up a little bit, and I've given you a little bit new parameters. In a separate video, I'll talk about how to do the shearing in Illustrator for those of you who want to take advantage of some of that. Again, I want to be very cognizant that I really don't like bastardizing fonts. I like to leave them in their feral state, the way they were designed by their designer. But we'll make that, we'll talk about that a little bit more when I do the other video. Again, here's our due dates that I've laid out here, and let me read through this specifically so you'll have a jump on. And I'll review this all again when we get into class shortly. Photo reference document using Adobe Bridge. Use the attached cover page for the contact sheet document, highlighting the 40 images as a minimum. So basically 40 images or 10 images per idea. Print 2 per page, so that'll give you 20 pages, roughly about 300 dpi. Be repetitive and as detailed to fully understand your selected location. Minimum of 4 sites, 4 locations to explore are found within the your personal archives. So if you've got stuff from a vacation that you think might work for this, again, this poster is a call to action, something that you want to promote and talk about. Photo variations, various positions and angles. Perspective works best when you're getting those nice parallax where it comes up to a point. You can kind of see that in the chalk building on La Vida in Orange, here in Orange County. A little bit of parallax, the curving works best when you have some of these curves. Again, you can print these in black and white for your purposes. Time of day will be also critical, getting the right shadows you want for the work. And again, the contact sheets can be printed in black and white to save the expense. Now, working with your contact sheets you'll produce in Bridge, you're going to develop a study of the symbolic line analysis, review the demo from Zoom in the classroom session, which we'll do. We'll be using the French curves and the straight edges to locate the select number, a select number of unique linear elements within the piece. So again, we'll be using our French curves, our number 2 pencils. I'm going to use red marker just because it shows up a lot easier. And then we'll talk more about these comps at a little bit later, but I'll probably touch on those a little bit as we get into these next steps. So let me just start with this first demo with Bridge. I've got a file of a bunch of photos that I have randomly here, and if you notice that the photos are, they all have these bizarre names like IMG_1036. What does that mean? That's just how it's indexed in your camera. So we'll show you how you can rename those for fluidity. So I'm going to open up Bridge. This is a document that you'd be very familiar with. And once it boots up, I'm going to go find this folder. That folder is the one I want to work with. So it's not here. You want to come up to the little down arrow, click, and it's going to go to desktop. And I'm going to go find my improv folders right here. There's my improv images. There they all are along there. And what I want to do is go Command All. So they're all selected. Now they're all up in your viewing area. And I want to prepare the document. This document must be 8.5 by 11. I've punched that in here. It's in, not landscape, but it's in portrait format. The resolutions, I'd say between 72 and 96 because of the size you're going to be printing those. Unfortunately, you don't need them at the highest quality. It just takes longer to process the document. So I'm just doing mine at 72. And then the layout is located here. I can collapse that now to economize space. It's 1 column and 2 down, so it's 2 per page. And you can play with the margins if you want. It's up to you. But a very important thing you want to touch is rotate for best fit. That way it will lay it sideways so you don't get a minimized photo. So like this photo, if you did it in this view, would make it smaller on the page. So it will turn it sideways for our purposes, and that's okay. So I'll close that down as well. I'm going to skip over to header. I don't need layout. There's nothing there I really want to talk about. But the header is kind of interesting. You can type in here, and I'll type in mine, improv poster contact sheets. So that's good enough. And I can make it right or the left. I have it on the right side, or you could have it centered. We'll do centered for fun. And then you do a footnote as well. If you want to do footnote, you can. And that's about it for that setup. But before you go into all this, you may look at this, and again, I mentioned, what does this name really mean? You can actually take these and go all, Command A, and come up here where they're all selected, and you can go to Tools, Batch Rename, and in the batch rename, you can come in here and give it a new name. And you can change these, add and plus more of these if you want, but I'm going to call it Improv Project. That's good enough. And if you notice down here, it's typed in Improv Project, and I want to put an underscore to get a little space. Notice how this changed right here. And I want to take the digits, and I'm going to make this 3 digits. I like 3. I'll make this start at 1. So the very first photo will be renamed to this. This is 01. And when I go OK, and it says rename in the same folder. I could actually move it to a new folder if I wanted to, but I'm just going to leave it all in the same folder, and I go rename. And it take a second here, and there you go. See how the photos in the sequence have changed. Here are all the new names. So very, very helpful in your overall effect. Now I come over here and go Save. And notice I punch right here, View PDF after I've done this, which is kind of nice. If you unclick that, you'll have to go find it on the desktop. But I'm going to leave it so it pops up as soon as I'm done with it. Punch in my name, Improv Contact Sheets. And I'll go save to the desktop, or I could save to a folder anywhere I want. I'm just leave it on the desktop for right now. And it's going to build my document. And there it goes. Now, if I had done this at 300 dpi, this would still be over here chugging because it has to go through every bit of that. And as soon as it's done, you can minimize this a little bit. And now you can see, here's my images all laid out. And see how it rotated the image to economize? So I have a nice full image per page. There's my chalk one again. Some other ones. I just have some random images here. Any of these I could probably build an interesting piece out of. This one not so much because a part of the image gets obliterated off the page. Something to think about. So there's, look, I got chalk in there twice. Must be a different view. So there's all my images that I've got. Pictures of Cal State. There's the art building. That's the E building. I think I've got, oh, there's our classroom. Do miss our classroom. So lots of interesting photos to play with throughout this piece. And when I'm done, what I will do, and I'm done with this now, so I put that away. Quit. And I can put that away. And what I have is my document that I built. This one I made earlier. But here's the document sitting here right ready to go. As shown before, what I'm going to do is you're going to go to your assignment sheet and you're going to take this cover page on the back of your assignment sheet. You'll write your name here and you'll attach it to that, and then you're going to scan this for me and send it to me as a PDF so I can give you credit for doing this on time. Again, it is due on the due date, so look at your due date on this. That contact sheet is due on the 16th, so you got a couple of weeks on this. I'm going to require that you photograph that thing on Cam Scanner and send me a copy so I can put it in file so that I know that you're tracking on the assignment. And that will include all of the structural line analysis. And if you remember the other day when I showed you the video, you're going to go through and take your images on that document and you're going to go through and mark through these, okay? So that is what I'm anticipating. You're taking your French curves, and I think I can move over to the part where I did the chalk building. There you go. There's the chalk building, and this is the one that's probably more interesting. You're going to want to find pictures that have more dynamic lines, especially these curved lines that we're going to show in here in a moment, like this one here. This will allow you to place text in the most interesting place within the document. Build headers. Again, you're going to be building this overall piece in either Photoshop or in Illustrator, or however you want to do that. You can make this as strictly a graphic, just about any way you want to go. Once we're done with this stage and you've got a pretty good fair idea, our next due date, which is listed here, will be the 23rd, and this is where you'll do the initial comps from this. Here's your initial comps that you'll be creating, and I think I showed you these as well. These are the initial comps. You'll go through, and I'm asking for 6 variations of your idea. You take your strongest idea that you want to throw your hat into, and this student took the bowling alley in Whittier that's been there for 60 years, the one it's called La Habra Lanes. They've got 300 lanes, if you can believe that. So this is the deal. This is what you're going to do, very, very, very strong layout. And then I'll show you how to build your InDesign document later on. But that's what I'm requiring. Make sure that you have that ready to go. Your please, again, your documents that you built all this from. Notice the naming conventions all changed. So I hope this has been helpful, and we will see you in class. Talk to you now. Bye-bye.